Welcome in episode number 74 here of the St0ner Sports Radio Podcast. This episode means just a little bit more as we are covering the top half of the SEC, A through M, here on a wonderful Be Happy Saturday. Joining me once again from the Huffman Cave is friend and co-host Zach Huffman. I know you're itching to jump into this. How are we doing today, Mr. Zach?
We're doing good, you know. Gotta pick against Oklahoma a couple times today, probably. Not feeling good about it.
No, I never feels good. Betting against your favorite squad here, but growing pains, new conference, new quarterback, probably going to be feeling that a little bit more than you would if you were in the Big 12. Go ahead and give me kind of your rundown here, Zach, of this top half of the SEC and kind of what listeners can expect as we move forward here with the top half of our list.
I mean, obviously you got Alabama and Georgia at the top half, and that's probably the biggest thing. But you also got teams like LSU, Kentucky, Billy Napier's Florida, just an amazing team, very well organized. Locker room is extremely well organized. And then you got teams like Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, really, that just aren't going to be as exciting. Mississippi State, not going to be very exciting this season.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those conferences that has good teams sprinkled throughout. It's a very deep conference, even though there are some stinkers in here. This is definitely probably the deepest conference in college football heading into this season, particularly and specifically. Let's go ahead and start with Alabama. I mean, this is a team a lot of people are very high on coming into this season, Zach. I mean, right now they have the line at 9.5 for Alabama here on CBS. As I said, CBS folks, 9.5 across the board on most sports books. Two of them have them at 8.5. Which I would be very happy to slam the over on 8.5 for this team. And CBS has them as a 10-win team with losses at Georgia and Tennessee. What could you tell me about the Crimson Tide here of year 2 electric boogaloo of the Jalen Milroe project?
I think they're probably going to go 11-1. I think this team is, still going to be extremely good. Jalen Milroe is still one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Top 3 probably, in my opinion. I think he's probably better than Quinn Ewers even. So I'm going to see Alabama having a really, really good season. I think that they lose to Georgia and probably nobody else. That includes Oklahoma. That includes Tennessee. That includes LSU.
Yeah, I mean, CBS has them losing to Tennessee this year. Which, Tennessee is quarterbacked by another young freshman that a lot of people have their eyes on. But I don't really see that happening. I'm kind of leaning more towards what you're describing as an 11-1 year here. I think Georgia could be the Achilles heel, as you said, of Alabama, because they seem to have the only team, in my opinion, that looks built enough to take on the monster that Alabama should be heading into this season. You look at these other games, Zach. Western Kentucky win, USF win, Wisconsin, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Missouri, Mercer, Auburn, LSU, Oklahoma. LSU, another team to kind of keep an eye on. They've still got some really big shoes to fill at their quarterback spot as well. The SEC this year, I gave you an open. Here's my open. This is the year of new quarterback for SEC teams. There's a bunch of them that left to go to the league. A lot of them graduated, and now we have a lot of transfers filling in some spots, a lot of young freshmen that are highly recruited filling in some spots. So that's where a lot of these question marks lie is Tennessee going to be good enough to beat a team like Alabama? Is this young guy going to be good enough? Is Jackson Arnold going to be good enough? Is this team good enough to pull up at home and beat Alabama? I think these are questions that will be answered the closer we get to these games, Zach, but I think that again, those are still question mark games in my opinion. Those teams could be better than what we're looking at right now on paper, and that's what you're hoping for. That's what LSU fans are Tennessee fans are hoping for, and LSU fans. But I think that's kind of where we're at with Alabama. This is a really good team, even without Nick Saban. I think they've got a good chance, like you said, to go 11-1. It's just, could they go 10-2? They could. It's just whether or not those young guys can step up.
Yeah, and I hope they do go 10-2, and I hope that second loss is to Oklahoma. I really hope so. God, I really hope so. But I mean, I don't really see it happening this season. Alabama's still got the talent, and they're just especially in the trenches. I mean, it's
Oh,
just different in the SEC in the trenches.
yeah, I mean, and you have a brand new offensive line. A lot of people have made a big stink about that as far as OU is concerned. When we get to talking about that in part 2 of this series, I think we'll kind of expand on that more. But you are very correct. The trenches is kind of where I think that game will be won and lost in particular. But I think a very good season for Alabama. Slam the over. Slam the over 9.5. Slam the very over 8.5. If you get the 8.5 line, slam the fuck out of that. I think this team is going to be very good as long as they can stay healthy. Especially at the quarterback position. I think they'll be a playoff team, and they'll probably have a first round bye.
Yeah, I could see it happening. I'd probably have them playing for an SEC championship too.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. And that leads us to Woo Pig Suey. Zach, when we talk about Arkansas fans, talk about a team that every year it seems like the expectations for Arkansas are a lot higher than what the end result ends up being. They usually have pretty good talent. Of course, KJ Jefferson gone now. He's at UCF, one of my favorite teams in the Big 12 this year. I think that's a huge loss for them. And hey, Bobby Petrino is back though, baby. Big game Bobby is back, and he's ready to put on the neck brace, go for another motorcycle ride, and take your mother out to dinner without you knowing, and that's okay. But right now this is a 4.5 win total line for the Razorbacks. If you look at the sports books, they aren't very high on the Razorbacks either. They really think that Arkansas is going to struggle just as bad as this CBS article thinks they're going to struggle. 4.5 across the board through all the sports books. Is this only a 4.5 win team? I mean, right now you have 4 wins. They're picking the under here on CBS. What are your thoughts on the Razorbacks?
I don't think they're going to be very good. Like you said, they lost KJ Jefferson, and they also lost Raheem Sanders. So, I mean, this team is kind of just depleted. Also, brand new coaching staff coming in. I'm not a believer in Sam Pittman either. This is probably a hot seat season, if I had to guess. But yeah, I have Arkansas probably going 4-8 here. I don't see them. I think CBS just has it right here. Honestly, I think I can see them beating Mississippi State just because of Jeff Levy's newness and the lack of talent kind of at Mississippi State, which we'll get on to in a minute. But yeah, I mean, tough schedule here for Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, you look at games against Oklahoma State, Auburn, Texas A&M, Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas, and Missouri as losses here that CBS has listed. I like all those losses except for Oklahoma State.
No, Arkansas is going to beat Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
They're going to beat Oklahoma State.
You think they're going to?
No.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we're on the same page then. I mean, I don't think Oklahoma State loses this game, and I think it's because instead they'll lose to UCF in the Big 12 title game. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. That's what I picked UCF to be the dark horse in the Big 12, so don't be surprised if the Cowboys do have to play them. But I don't expect Oklahoma State to lose that game. But no, this is a really bad team, and I really feel bad for the hillbillies out there in Arkansas because I mean they really love their Razorback football. I mean you love the Razorback hats, you love the tailgate scene out there in the natural state, and they do have some really good fans. So I really feel bad for the state that this program has been in for it seems like even the last decade. To be honest, I mean even when Darren McFadden was there, the team as a whole wasn't good. So I think that you're just kind of looking at a very sad piggy season, and I would probably pick. Yeah, I think the under 4.5 is a good pick here.
Yeah, I think this is a team that has a schedule that's not very very hard to decipher. I think that Mississippi State game could possibly be a loss. When you look at that, so this could be a 3-win team.
But, I mean,
either way,
that's still the under.
you're picking that under.
That's still the under. So I mean, we're holding firm. I think 3 is the floor 7.5 is the ceiling. And that fifth one, I think if I had to bet any money, would maybe be Auburn. I mean, Auburn's not great.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
that would be the one that I would probably, if I was like, if you're gonna win one of these losses game, which one does it be? I think that would be the
No,
one.
it's gonna be Texas if they're gonna win one, and let's just be honest, because Texas would fucking lose that.
You think Arkansas will be in the same position Houston was in last year, where they almost had him? like, yeah, I could see it.
Wouldn't surprise
I
me.
could see it.
The
I,
mediocrity they produce down there in Austin.
oh, yeah. Wait till wait till you tear into them part two. Ooh, stay tuned. But yeah, no, I think this is an under, and it's a very straightforward, and CBS for once gets it right. Moving on to Auburn here. Over under 7.5 here for the Auburn Tigers. If you look at the sports books, as far as Auburn is concerned, you're looking at 7.5 across the board, 8.5 at a couple of sports books. So very high are the last couple of sports books on the Tigers. CBS has them winning 8 games, so they have the over 7.5 here with losses to Oklahoma, Georgia, Missouri, Alabama, wins against Arkansas, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Louisiana Monroe, Texas A&M, New Mexico, Cal, and Alabama A&M. And I'm going to be honest with you here, Zach. I think that's pretty spot on.
I would say close, but I think Kentucky's going to beat Auburn.
I mean, yeah, you look at Kentucky and Texas A&M; those are the ones that I would probably say could go either way. It just kind of depends on who takes care of the football. Um, but I think over 7.5 is not a bad bad thing to shoot for here. I think it's very plausible considering the schedule they got.
Yeah, I should agree with that. I'm looking specifically though at Kentucky, and I'm looking at Missouri because I'm not as huge of a believer in Missouri as a lot of people are this season. Obviously, I fucking hate them. And I think that Auburn could come out and beat Missouri, but I'm probably gonna stick with them losing that one.
Yeah, I think 8-4 is pretty solid. I mean 7-5 is probably the floor. I don't see them being a 6-6 team. I think that would be a failure of a season for this team.
Mm, I don't know if that'd be a failure. I mean, why do you have such high expectations?
Mainly because you have a lot of starters returning. Hugh Freeze is not a bad coach. I like Hugh Freeze. I think he does a good job places, and I think having a veteran quarterback in the SEC this year is going to be valued a lot more than people think it is because of the fact you have so many new quarterbacks in this thing. I mean, Peyton Thorne year 2. Usually, a lot of these transfers, if they don't play well year 1, really do improve after a second season of being somewhere. And I think that you'll see that from Peyton Thorne. I don't like Peyton Thorne when he was at Michigan State. I thought he was mid. I think he still is mid. But I think if you put him in this quarterback class of what the SEC has, I think he's a top 8 quarterback in the conference. And I think that just kind of leans on his experience. I don't think it leans on his productivity or what he brings to the table talent-wise. I think it's literally just the fact that he's been a D1 quarterback for a long time. And he's not terrible, but he's not going to be somebody that anybody's going to be looking at the draft and going, I want that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that happening, but I'm looking at teams. I'm really just looking at that Kentucky game. Um, but let's see. So CBS has them going 8-4. Over under set at 7.5. I would probably have them going 7. So pit the under there.
All right. I'm having the over. You got the under, but I think like a lot of these that have been kind of this way with us, the justification for going either way on this team in particular is very. I mean, you could convince me. You know what I'm saying? Like you could convince me that Kentucky can beat them. You could convince me that even Texas A&M could beat them. They could go 7-5. But I could look at this and I could also believe they could beat both of those teams. Very plausible. I think those are 50-50 games.
Yeah. And now I think we can move on to a team that I think is going to underperform extremely this season.
Who is that?
That's Billy Napier's Florida, and I have them going 2-10.
Oh well, well, I'm stopping my chomp for that one because I've got them going 12-0. No, I'm kidding. No, no, no. The line here is 4.5 here, and CBS is picking the under. They've got them going winning 4 and going 4-8 here. They've got wins against Samford, Mississippi State, UCF, and Kentucky. Um, I'm on page with the under here, but I think this is a 3. I think this is a 3-9 team here. I think this is 3-9. I think they lose to Kentucky. You know what? Fuck it. No, you're right. 2-10. This is 2-10. This is 2-10.
Yeah, they're not going to lose.
You're not going to beat UCF. You're not going to beat Kentucky. I mean that's
exactly.
You're not beating Miami and Florida. You're not beating Texas A&M. You're not beating Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State. No shot. I mean, there's no
terrible
shot.
season.
Well, it's over.
Tennessee was gonna fucking pray so hard.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is. I mean, CBS being a little generous here with UCF and Kentucky. I think this is a 2-10 team. Pick the under. A lot of this
damaging schedule. I mean, just a terrible schedule for them.
Yeah, it doesn't do them any favors. Now, 2 sports books have them at 5.5, and one of them has them at 5. Slam the fuck out of that. If you get a 5.5 line on this, I mean, I don't know what sports book this is, but I mean, they are giving like money away. Is that Bali? Is this Bali bets? What is this? What is this? You're kidding. What is this? This is Oh, it is Bali bet. Oh, Bali just giving away. Bali Sports giving away money. Giving away money because you know what? They're so bad at streaming Thunder basketball games. They just had to give away money. I mean, I'm signing up right now. I mean, just I'm telling my friends sign up. All my friends in Kansas, all my friends in these lovely places where you can actually sports bet. Go ahead and download the Bally Sports Bet app and just start slamming these terrible lines that Bally is putting out there because no other respectable online gambling site is giving them this type of benefit of the doubt line here. The only other one that I'm looking at that has them at 5.5 as well is Bet Rivers. So if you have Bet Rivers or you have Bally Sports Bet, go ahead and slam the under on the 5.5 because that's just free money.
Yeah, exactly. This team's gonna fucking suck this season.
And the next team is not going to suck, according to the experts.
They're not going to suck at all.
Georgia, the line is 10.5 for the Bulldogs. Your previously crowned national champions of 2 years ago, coming back with a vengeance here. And Bally Bet and Bet Rivers has it at 9.5. So slam that over, baby. I mean, these sports books are bad, folks. I mean, these are the only. When I say every sports book but 2, these are the 2 that are listed at the end as Bally Sports and Bet Rivers. I'm talking about free money, baby. And I mean, 9.5. I'm slamming that over so hard that my fingers are falling off.
Yeah, because this team's going 12-0.
Yeah, I mean, CBS has them going 12-0. Everybody in the country has them going 12-0. I've got them going 10-2.
That's insane.
I think 11-1 is very plausible here. I think the loss right here is Texas. I think Texas gets it done. I think Texas gets it done, baby. Texas gets it done at home. Get it done at home.
Texas has lost.
Get it done at home.
Texas has lost so much. Texas lost so much over the offseason. He's lost all of his fast receivers. He has no more weapons like he used to. His running back got hurt in the offseason, season ending. He doesn't have his starting running back. This team is not going to be very good.
11-1, a loss either to Texas or Alabama on the road. I'm telling you it's going to happen. This team is not going to be perfect. I don't think they have the pieces to go perfect. I don't think that teams prep anymore to go perfect now that it's 12 teams. I think you can rest some guys, at points where you probably wouldn't whenever this was a BCS. You had to win it all to get there kind of thing. I mean, the schedule is easy, right? Clemson win, Tennessee Tech win, Kentucky, Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee, UMass, Georgia Tech, all wins. You look at the Texas game, you look at the Alabama game, both on the road, both hostile environments, both places are going to be packed. One of those is a loss. I'm telling you right now, Georgia fans, one of those is a loss. It's okay. You're still going to get a first-round bye. You're probably going to rematch with at least probably Alabama in the SEC championship game. You'll probably win the second time around, but you're going to lose one of those games. It's going to either be the SEC championship game to Alabama, on the road at Alabama, or on the road at Texas, because Texas ain't winning the goddamn SEC. I'll just tell you that right now. But they could rise up, and Quinn Ewers could do that to get Texas's 4th win of the season.
Listen, I think if Georgia loses, it's not to either of those teams. It's actually on the road at Ole Miss. And I think that when they go to Oxford, it's going to be really fucking difficult because Lane Kiffin's a recruiting beast, and that team is going to be really good this season. Hence why they're ranked number 6 already in the preseason poll. So yeah, I think Georgia, if they lose a game, which I don't think they will, they're going undefeated. They're going to lose to Ole Miss. Just Texas is not going to be this powerhouse that the people think they are, because they're simply just not going to have the weapons that they did last season. And Sarkisian's not a good coach. He's not. He couldn't draw up a single play to get 1 yard against Oklahoma in the last Red River rivalry.
You
1
know,
yard.
You know that last tackle on 4th down on that screen pass is not being made if Alex Grinch is the defensive coordinator. I'm just saying.
Well,
I mean,
that doesn't matter, because Alex Grinch wasn't the defensive
I know. I'm just saying.
Anybody scoring on Alex Grinch in that situation. It wouldn't have even been that close.
99% of the time, that tackle ain't being made, dog.
They would have scored on the fucking second play of the game if it was Alex
If he had
Grinch.
reached that ball out half a second early, that's a touchdown. I mean, like,
matter.
I know it doesn't matter.
You know why?
Hindsight
Steve
is 20.
Sarkisian's a bad coach, because he can't coach his players to do that. And you know what? They're thugs, is what they are over there in Texas.
Right, a bunch of Lambo thugs, baby. A bunch of Lamborghini driving thugs.
Yeah. And listen, I know we're talking about Georgia here, and I know they do a lot of DUIs. And I know that's kind of an issue, but then they still have a ton of weapons, no matter how many players get arrested.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But I don't think undefeated is where this team is going. I just don't see it. I don't even like Carson Beck, to be honest. I think he's too ugly.
Do you have any team going undefeated in the SEC this season?
No.
All right.
No, I don't. I really don't. I think this is the toughest conference in the country. It's the toughest conference. There's a team on everybody's schedule that you circle and go, that could be a loss. You know, I mean, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. This is going to be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the 2 SEC championship game teams have 2 losses. Like it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me.
Not going to happen. It's gonna be Georgia, and it's gonna be Alabama.
It should be. Should be.
It's gonna be Georgia, and it's gonna be Alabama.
I mean,
actually,
hey, regardless, slam the over 10.5, and please slam the over 9.5. Slam the fuck out of that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
floor is 11.
Floor is 11. Yes, I'll give you. Floor is 10. Floor is 10. Ceiling undefeated. I say floor is 10. Floor is 10, and Kirby Smart gets fired.
Yeah, they win 10, he gets fired.
Yeah, there you go. That's
a team that if they win 10. I mean,
college football playoff. Yeah, college football playoff team. That's college football playoff team. We're talking about the Wildcats of the Bluegrass State, Kentucky, baby.
A football school. A football
school, by the way. Yes. 6.5 is the line that CBS has. If you look here at the sports books for Kentucky, 6.5 all the way through, except for Bet Rivers and Bally Sports that have them at 5.5. And CBS has the under. They have them literally winning 6. They am going 6-6 here. I think this is a 7 or 8 win football team.
This is an 8-win football team because Kentucky's going to beat Florida. They're going to beat Auburn, and those are going to add to the wins of Southern Mississippi, South Carolina, Ohio, Vanderbilt, Murray State, Louisville. I feel like those are all easy wins. They're going to beat Florida because Florida's terrible.
Yep.
And they're going to beat Auburn because I think Auburn's – I mean, you don't think they're going to beat Auburn, but I think they're going to beat Auburn.
It can happen.
And then obviously they're going to lose to Georgia. They're going to lose to Ole Miss. They're going to lose to Tennessee, and they're going to lose to Texas. It's a pretty cut and dry schedule, in my opinion. I
mean, Tennessee is another one that I need to see more from their quarterback. That's all I'm going to say. By the time they play, I think I'll agree with you. I don't want to put too much stock.
We haven't seen anything. But we haven't seen anything from Kentucky's upcoming quarterback, Brock Vandagriff.
Well, he's from the Lincoln Riley quarterback tree. You got to love that.
He is from the Lincoln Riley quarterback tree.
Former OU great. Former OU commit.
No, he
former
committed.
OU commit.
He committed for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Before heading out to Georgia to get beat out by
then we got Spencer Rattler.
Hey, that wasn't a bad deal. Probably should have kept him. Hey, Caleb Williams was better. I can't deny that. This is this Kentucky team. No team that's listed on their losses here on CBS is going to be a blowout loss, except for probably Georgia.
I could see Ole Miss or Texas being a blowout.
I mean, like over 14-point blowout.
Because they're on the road. Just because Kentucky's on the road in those games. You're in Oxford, you're in Austin. Those are not easy environments. Yeah. Kentucky's probably not necessarily built for that. We'll see what Brock Vandagriff can do. Although I do think Brock Vandagriff's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be better than a lot of people think. I think he's probably one of the most untalked about quarterbacks in the SEC, and another guy that again is on this unproven quarterback list. I mean, this is. I mean, this list is big. I'm telling you, this list is long of SEC quarterbacks that have a lot to prove. And the one thing I'm noticing about you, Zach, is you are really high on the Grove. You are really high on the Grove. I feel like we even need to just go just so you could just experience whether or not you're even right about the kind of environment that we're talking about over here at the outdoor cocktail party that is the Grove.
I don't know about that, but I think that I don't know if I'd ever go to a Kentucky game in my entire life.
Well, no, it would be at Ole Miss.
Oh,
I'm talking about the Grove. It
oh.
wouldn't be out in fucking bumfuck Kentucky. I'm not driving out to fucking Kentucky.
I mean, Ole Miss is. I like Kiffin. I think that they're going to be a high flying offense.
Well, I mean, and look, I know you have love for Mark Stoops, and that makes sense as well. I mean, we like to reps the Stoops family around here, in the great state of Oklahoma. So that's not a surprise that we're a little higher than 6.5, for Kentucky. I mean, but definitely slam the 5.5 on Bally and Bet Rivers. I mean, I don't know if these sports books even watch football, but if you have 5.5 as a line, fuck it, slam the shit. This is obviously a bowl team.
Yeah, 100%. This is a bowl team. I think that their floor is probably 7.
I agree. I think the floor is 7. Ceiling is undefeated. The ceiling is probably 8. Ceiling is probably 8.
Yeah, I think their ceiling's 8.
I think the ceiling is 8. You would have to grab a Tennessee you'd have to probably grab. You probably have to grab well, just grab Auburn and Florida and throw them up there. I think those are probably the two that would probably put you at 8. Those are the two you have to circle if you're Kentucky fans to get to that magic number. But it's definitely better than 5.5, and it's definitely better than 6.5. CBS has it wrong. We have it right. And congratulations to Kentucky fans. Going to have a good season. Not going to be great. Going to go bowling. You're going to go bowling. Going to go bowling. And
it'll be a decent bowl game too.
Yeah, it'll be decent. It won't be one of the first. Won't be one of the ones before the college football play. But right in that sweet spot middle, right after Christmas, kind of. So I mean, that'll be a good for y'all. And that leads us to another team with a big cat mascot. That would be LSU. The Tigers, the line is 9.5 for LSU. And as I scroll up here, because I know they're close to the top, we got 9.5 on only one website. That would be FanDuel. You have 9 on 3 other sports books, and you have 8 on Bally and Bet Rivers as the line for LSU. I've got to get on this Bet Rivers thing, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, can I parlay these? Because I mean, like, I'm telling you, these lines are awful.
I don't know, because this is a 9-win team.
I mean, it's a 9
because they're not beating Oklahoma. They're losing Oklahoma. They're losing Ole Miss. They're losing Alabama. That's that simple for LSU. All those teams are at home. I will give them that.
Yeah.
They have a lot of home games this season too.
They have like 3 road games. Looks like 4. I have 4 road games.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to be a USC. I think that's the easy one for LSU. Honestly,
oh yeah,
they're going to beat Nichols. They're going to beat South Carolina. They're going to beat UCLA. They're going to crush South Alabama. They're going to beat Arkansas. They're going to beat Texas A&M. They're going to beat Florida. They're going to beat Vanderbilt, but they're going to lose Oklahoma. They're going to lose Ole Miss, and they're going to lose Alabama. That is a 9-3 team.
Yeah, they've got them at 10-2 on here on CBS. I think 9-3 is probably the ceiling. I mean, I think this game 2 circle on there would be the Oklahoma game. I think that's one you probably flip flop, if not Ole Miss. I could see them. I could see them beating Ole Miss and losing to OU, or I could see OU being added to the list as well. I think that. I think 9 is the floor. I think 9's the floor here for this team.
Yeah. I think I don't know if 9's the floor. I think 8 could be the floor because I'm looking at teams like Texas A&M.
Okay.
And USC could very well beat them too.
I just think first game Lincoln Riley, like with a new team and like a young quarterback going against.
Yeah, but looking at the schedule, right? If you had to pick a couple teams there, I think. You're looking at that Texas A&M game because it's at Caulfield, which is tough. And then you're looking at USC just because of the offensive. They're going to have a good offense.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably a given at this point. But yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a good year for LSU. I think another happy year for Tigers fans. Or you might have a chance of sneaking into the teens of the college football playoff if you get some help. Because the SEC right now, I'm looking at, they could possibly get 5 or 6 teams in this college football playoff. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised at all.
I don't see them getting 6. I could see them probably getting 4. I could see them probably. I think likely is probably 3. You're gonna get the 2 that play in the SEC championship. You're getting, and I could see you getting like a 10-2 team who's a third team.
So you have those 3. Then you have what, Big Ten championship game teams. Probably another
Yeah,
one from the Big Ten, ACC champion, Big 12 champion, maybe another Big 12 team. You
yeah.
have a Group of 5 team. It still leaves 2 spots. Um,
It would just be the next 2 in the AP poll. It's probably another. It might be another SEC team, but it could also be a Big
yeah.
10. Could be an ACC. Could be a Big
One of
12.
these
I mean,
conferences is going to have 5. One of these conferences is going to sneak 5 teams in here. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. One of
I don't
these.
know about 5. I could see a team. I could see a conference, maybe two or 3 conferences sneaking 4 in.
I mean, really think that the Big 12 has enough teams that'll be good enough? I mean, let's see: Utah, Oklahoma State, maybe UCF,
Kansas State.
Kansas, Kansas State, Kansas or Kansas State. I think it's gonna be one of the two.
But also, I'm looking at the ACC. They're probably gonna. They could sneak in Florida State, Clemson, Miami. They could
If,
sneak all 3 of those teams in.
yeah, I mean that. I think it hinges on how good Miami is. I think that's kind of gonna be your measuring stick. I mean,
I think it more depends on Clemson.
yeah, God is on their side.
Yeah,
um, but yeah, no, I think slam the under 9.5. I mean, a 9-win team, right? Are we kind of agreed this is a 9-win team, not a
I think
10-win
I
team?
think so. I think so. And now we could move on to the team that's being secretly consulted by Art Briles.
Build the T. Which team is that?
Mississippi State, because
Oh,
Jeff Levy is his son-in-law.
right.
The
That's right.
son-in-law of Art
Oh,
Briles brought him on the field to vote OU last
it's a
season. That
sin.
is not
It's a
cool.
sin. It's a fireable offense.
Yeah, I think he was asked to maybe go away after that, but he got this head coaching opportunity here at Mississippi State, and they have a cupcake schedule, except for the most of their conference games, but the non-conference games completely cupcake. Um, I, the, I think the CBS has the line set at 4.5. They have them going 4-8. I think this is probably correct. Um,
I mean, you
when
look
you're
at,
looking at
yeah, the other sports books here that when you look at Mississippi State on here, if I can fucking find them, where are they at? There they are. 4.5 at on just FanDuel. You got 4 at most of the sports books have them. Everybody else has them at 4. FanDuel has them at 4.5. So, I mean, 4 is a tough number to go over under on this team, Zach. Because the thing is, like you said, Eastern Kentucky's a win. Arizona State's probably a win. Toledo and UMass are definitely wins. You have at least 3 right there, right? Arizona State still, to
yeah.
me, I mean, they're bad. They're not good. But I mean, like, Mississippi State's not world beaters either. That's going to be a close game. I hate to say it, but that's going to be a close game.
Yeah, that could
And
definitely be a close one. I could see Toledo being a close one. Even UMass. I mean, shit. Like all 3 of these games should be close. Eastern
what
Kentucky's
what
not
happened to
really good.
Cupcake Non-Con? I thought you said Cupcake.
Well,
No.
that is cupcake, but Mississippi State's also kind of cupcake.
Yeah,
Is the problem.
yeah. I think that.
But yeah, they're definitely losing to Florida. They're losing at Texas. They're losing at Georgia. They're losing to A&M. They're losing to Arkansas. They're losing at Tennessee. They're losing to Missouri. They're losing at Ole Miss. That's a tough schedule on
the
conference team
the
in
the
terms.
one team you could circle on the losses is Arkansas because they have the
No,
same.
the one team you just circle on the losses is Florida.
Oh, that's right. I didn't see that. Yeah, no, it's Florida. It's Florida. It's. I mean, I guess you could say or Arkansas because they have the same win total as Mississippi, the same line. So that's going to be a close game. But Mississippi State's at home. They could win that. I mean, the cowbells be going. I don't know if it's going to propel them to a victory, but it'll depend on kind of how Mississippi State moves on without Will Rogers. Obviously, we would have loved to see Mike Leach still, coaching this team. R.I.P. to the King. I think that, again, another team that has this quarterback question mark of like Are they gonna be okay? Like, I mean, I think that's definitely another, another team here that, if that quarterback plays beyond expectations, that Arkansas and that Florida, that are in the losses could propel them to 6 wins. Could be bowl eligible if you can pull those out of your hat. But I think the rest of them are definitely losses.
Yeah, but a bowl eligible Mississippi State would be an incredible season, first season by Jeff Levy. I don't see it happening. I think this team's
Yeah.
going 4-8. I just don't. I'm not a believer in Mississippi State, just mostly due to the fact that their offense is going to be so behind the line of scrimmage.
So
Just starting out.
okay, so the question is, this line on CBS has them at 4.5, but both sports books have them at 4. Do you go over under 4 here for Mississippi State?
If I had to choose an over under 4, I'm probably going over, but I'm choosing an under if I have a 4.5.
Yeah,
And
only
and the only reason is because I can't choose 4 exactly.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, you can on
but
DraftKings, but that's not what we're doing. That's
yeah,
not
but I think that if I had to choose a line over under 4, I'd go over just because I think Florida could be a win.
yeah. I mean, if not Florida, Arkansas. Those are the two. I'm just saying those are the two that I would circle. I'm not saying, because look, we're close enough to Arkansas where I kind of have some feels. You know what I'm saying? Like there's I feel a certain way about them. They used to be
Fuck them Hogs.
they used to be a part of the Big Eight. They used to be a part of the Southwest Conference. I mean, they've been a part of Oklahoma and Oklahoma State lore for decades at one point. So I think that there's a little bit of nostalgia for me. That's kind of like, this used to be a team that our local teams used to play, and I think that if you can get an Arkansas OU thing going again in the SEC, I'd be all for it.
Yeah, well, Arkansas is going to have to get better first.
No, I believe that. I believe that. I believe that solely. I believe that solely. But as far as Mississippi State's concerned, if you were putting a gun to my head and said the line is 4 on over under, I'm picking over as well. I think if you had to force me, I'm going over 4. If you can, actually, as you said, exact, I would hit 4 on the nose.
Yep, and and I think that wraps it up for Mississippi State.
Yeah, that wraps up for Mississippi State and the front half of this SEC. It just means more here at the St0ner Sports
Means a
Radio
lot.
studio. For episode 74, hey, get your bets ready. Sign on to Bet River. Sign off to Bally Sports Bet, because they're giving away money. Do it now. Do it quick, because these lines aren't going to stay this juicy forever. But do it while you can. And we'll see you for episode 75 for the back half of the most important conference in college football, the SEC.